All right, big news on the border. The Supreme Court of the United States is allowing Texas temporarily to enforce its new law that allows it to arrest illegal immigrants crossing the border, making it a state crime.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Elon Musk, who you guys remember just did an interview with Don Lemon in which he talked about the Democrats and their open border strategy to accumulate power, okay, to enact single party rule in the United States. And the mainstream liberal media has smeared Elon Musk as a conspiracy theorist, as a bigot, as a racist, but Elon is not backing down. He's not backing down, okay, as he actually posted this video on Twitter that explains the Democrats' open border plan to enact a single party takeover of this country.
The Democrat open borders plan to entrench single party rule, explained in under 2 minutes. 1. Flood the country with untold millions of illegals by land, sea, and air from all over the world, enough to eclipse the populations of 36 individual U.S. states so far. 2. Prioritize the needs of these millions of non-citizens over the needs of the American citizen, with free flights, buses, hotels, meals, and phones, ensuring their loyalty to the political party that imported them. 3. Keep them in the country at all costs, even when they commit violent crime like murder and rape. Attack the language used to describe the criminals, as opposed to the criminals themselves. Slander critics as racist. 4. Ensure their privileges are made irrevocable with city and state sanctuary laws that act as population magnets. Codify permanent status and ensure non-cooperation with ICE. 5. Count the non-citizens in the census that will determine congressional apportionment in the House of Representatives. As of now, that would equal 13 extra congressional districts, a tremendous amount of electoral power. 6. Wage a massive, heavily funded lawfare campaign to change state voting laws that legalize mass mail-in ballots, no signature verification, and no proof of citizenship requirements, making it nearly impossible to prove voter fraud. 7. Lock in the permanent voting majority with campaign promises of lavish benefits and permanent privileges, enshrining generational fealty to the Democrat Party. 8. Win elections. 9. Entrenched single-party rule has been achieved. The best part? Your tax dollars are paying for it.
Yeah, so shout out to Western Lensman for this video. I personally didn't see anything in the video that was inaccurate, okay? I actually think that that is exactly what they're doing, and that's why this video will probably be deemed to be hate speech, right? The powers that be will say that Elon posted a conspiracy theory, right, on X, in which he, claims all type of hateful and racist things, right? This is what they'll say, because that's how they stop people from putting the truth out there, okay, which was what was outlined in this video, okay? But again, when it comes to the Democrats and their plans for open borders and how that helps them accumulate power, the cat is out of the bag, okay? Everybody knows what they're trying to do in regards to the open border, letting in millions of illegals and then having them populate these sanctuary cities, and they're boohoo whining and crying about it now, okay? But if Biden gets reelected, like I told you guys, he's going to allow more of them to work. They're going to try to push for a so-called pathway to citizenship, and eventually they will be able to vote. That is the plan, okay? I'm telling you, that's the plan. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, okay? Because we actually just got some bombshell news from the Supreme Court as they're going to allow Texas to enforce the border law by arresting illegal immigrants, okay? You guys remember the story that came out about how Texas, Governor Greg Abbott moved to allow local law enforcement to arrest and detain illegal immigrants that are suspected of crossing the border, aka if you see an illegal cross the border, you're like, okay, dude, you're across the border illegally, they can be arrested. Now, the Biden administration fought back against this, and the Supreme Court has spoken on it, at least temporarily. They are allowing Texas to arrest illegals. Take a look.
John, I'm at the Justice Department right now waiting to see if Attorney General Merrick Garland or anyone from the Justice Department has any comment on camera. We assume they're not going to be happy about this after they went to the Supreme Court recently and asked the Supreme Court to put a stay or a pause on this Texas law. It was called SB 4, and it would allow Texas state officials to arrest people suspected of illegal immigration. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says it is a necessary tool to fight this crisis at the southern border with people illegally crossing from Mexico into the United States, specifically into Texas, although the Biden administration said that it's up to federal officials to make such arrests and up to Border Patrol. Governor Abbott has said, well, Border Patrol has not been doing their job or doing its job for the past 2.5 or 3 years, so that's why this law was enacted in Texas. Right now, the Supreme Court has allowed it to continue going forward while the greater fight over the merits of the case makes its way through the system. Justice Sotomayor dissented in this, supported by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, expressing their issues with this moving forward. But as of now, Texas officials can continue to enforce this law, which allows them to arrest those suspected of illegal immigration. Again, waiting for some comment from Attorney General Merrick Garland or others here at the DOJ, which we expect they will have something to say, and not in a good way.
Yeah,
John?
so hopefully we get that response soon. Sandra here, David. Obviously now it becomes a question of resources for Texas to be able to carry this out.
Well, that's exactly right. And Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has said on camera for well over a year now that they are strapped resource-wise. So that becomes the question that Governor Abbott has posed to these federal officials, is that if you can't do it, somebody has to do it, and we're going to do it. The Justice Department, though, has said it's about territory, and the border is federal territory, which is correct. And they say that they should be making the arrests, meaning Border Patrol and other federal related agencies. But Governor Abbott said that this is the tool in his toolbox that he will use to stop this record flow of migrants crossing the southern border. Sandra?
So, Lieutenant Governor, it's John here. A number of questions in the overall. How is this going to work? What charges will people face for crossing the border illegally? How long can you hold them? Will they be able to bond out? And in terms of sending people back, U.S. immigration law states that we can only send back people with a contiguous border with the United States on foot. Others would have to be flown back. So who can be sent back? How does that all work?
Great questions, John. So the basic overview is when we arrest someone that we've seen crossing, or we find out they've crossed here illegally, we will arrest them. We will get all of their information. This was a key part of the bill. We didn't want to just turn people back because we wanted to know, are they on the terrorist watch list? Are they a criminal? Who are they? So we will fingerprint them, and we'll photograph them. We will do a background check. And then at that point, because they are here illegally, in other words, what Senate bill says is it's illegal to be here illegally. At that point, they can agree to go back. Now, if they're not a criminal or on the terrorist watch list, if they don't have any of those charges against them, they can agree to spend 6 months in jail or go back to Mexico. If they go back and come back the second time, it increases to a felony, and they go to jail for many years. So this is,
Lieutenant Governor,
that's how the law will work.
we appreciate you weighing in, obviously calling the move historic. That news just happening. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Governor, Lieutenant Governor. Sorry, we're up against a hard break, but thanks for joining.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, I would hope that this would motivate other red state governors to help Texas, because resources are definitely going to be an issue, right? But this, in my opinion, opens the door for a massive state-led revolt against the federal government by sending their forces down to Texas and Arizona in some of these border states to arrest illegals and to help Texas with this effort. Okay, you're going to see this be something that also is going to affect Florida as well, too, with the Haitians potentially trying to come in as well. I'm not sure exactly how they'd be able to send them back directly. But, yeah, I mean, this is a win, right? This is a W, at least short term, for standing up for the rule of law. Okay, like I said, the Supreme Court is the only institution left in this country with some sovereignty and integrity. However, there are limits to that, okay, as we have to talk about another case that the Supreme Court is hearing, and it doesn't sound like this is going to go the way that we want it to go, okay, as the Republicans have challenged Biden trying to demand social media companies censor speech that they don't like, namely when it comes to COVID-19 misinformation. The White House and the Biden administration went to platforms like Facebook, like X, like YouTube, and they basically demanded that those platforms censor content that did not go along with state-approved talking points. And Republicans have been suing the Biden administration over this. However, it doesn't look like that the Supreme Court is going to side with Republicans when it comes to this issue. An issue, in my opinion, is a First Amendment issue. It's a free speech issue. And I want to go ahead and play some of the reactions here from the oral arguments that were held during the Supreme Court. Take a look.
Exchanged between the White House and other federal officials and Facebook in particular, but also some of the other platforms. And I see that the White House and federal officials are repeatedly saying that Facebook and the federal government should be partners. We're on the same team. Officials are demanding answers. I want an answer. I want it right away. When they're unhappy, they curse them out. There are regular meetings. There is constant pestering of Facebook and some of the other platforms, and they want to have regular meetings. And they suggest, they suggest rules that should be applied, and why don't you tell us everything that you're going to do so we can help you and we can look it over. And I thought, wow, I cannot imagine federal officials taking that approach to the print media, our representatives over there. If you did that to them, what do you think the reaction would be?
Well, my biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways in the most important time periods. I mean, what would you have the government do? I've heard you say a couple times that the government can post its own speech, but in my hypothetical, kids, this is not safe, don't do it, is not going to get it done. And so I guess some might say that the government actually has a duty to take steps to protect the citizens of this country. And you seem to be suggesting that that duty cannot manifest itself in the government encouraging or even pressuring platforms to take down harmful information. So can you help me? Because I'm really worried about that because you've got the First Amendment operating in an environment of threatening circumstances from the government's perspective, and you're saying that the government can't interact with the source of those problems.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. I'm not sure if you guys picked up on the shocking but not so shocking statement there made by the affirmative action Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, appointed by the Biden administration, basically claiming that it is in her view that she fears that the First Amendment is hamstringing the government, which is supposed to be the function of the First Amendment and the Constitution. It quite literally is there to place limits on the government. But despite this, Biden says that she is the smartest, most intelligent justice on the court.
Together we put the first black woman on the United States Supreme Court. I'm mildly prejudiced, but I think she's the brightest person on the court.
Yeah, so she also can't define what a woman is, and according to Joe Biden, Hunter Biden is the smartest person that he knows as well, too. So, you only can take that with a grain of salt, but it is scary that we live in a time where a Supreme Court justice doesn't seem to understand the function of the Constitution and how it's supposed to place limits on the federal government and what the federal government can do. However, it doesn't seem like the court is going to go along with the Republican argument against the Biden administration, urging these social media companies to take down purported disinformation or misinformation about, things that they disagree with. Okay, so this is a setback for the First Amendment and for free speech if they decide to side with the Biden administration. But at the same time, we've had some wins from the Supreme Court here recently. So, it's kind of a balancing act, so to speak, okay? In their view, it seems like they don't see the Biden administration continuously pestering these social media platforms and trying to force them to take down, speech they don't like as an act of coercion. Okay. And that's essentially what it comes down to. That will be illegal, but it seems like they're not going to see it that way. But again, it is scary times that we're living in, okay, in which you have the state governments having to enforce federal laws because the federal government refuses to do so. And then at the same time, you have the Supreme Court basically seemingly going to allow the federal government to be able to pressure social media platforms to censor speech. Now, we'll see how that changes, how the left agrees or disagrees with that when Trump gets into the White House. Okay, if Trump gets back into the White House and he starts pestering social media platforms to take down left-wing disinformation, these people will be boo-hoo-whining and crying about the First Amendment, right? And that's just an example of how politics goes. It is sad that that's the currently the state that we live in. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.